Hi there, everybody. This is David, and this is my good friend Josepher. And he is here all the way from London to come and join me for some new RPG news. He came into town for an EVO Capcom fighting event, and yeah. So he's here to do some news with me. Introduce yourself.
Hi there, everybody. My name's Joe, but you can call me Joe. Well, my name's Josepher, but you can call me Joe. I am a YouTuber and a streamer for RPGs, and I'm also an artist as well. So what I do is, after I've finished a game, me and my community, I do portraits in pencil of the characters that have impacted the community and me the most. So 2B, for example, I've done here, and I brought some extra ones along.
Yeah, he actually gave me some really cool prints. This is Aerith right there. I'll show these more. I'll edit them in a little bit better. Yeah. They're absolutely gorgeous. There's 2P again, there's Bayonetta, and then this is the warrior of light as well from Final Fantasy 1.
Who's my favorite character.
Absolutely gorgeous. So, we're going to be doing the news together, and we have a lot of different opinions on the news, and our top story is starting off here, which I did do a video about earlier in the week, which is the Tales of Xillia remastered being leaked by Slovakian retailers. Back whenever I first made this video, all of the product pages were still up. As of right now, though, the product pages have been taken down. Yeah, Namco Bandai was like, so took that down. But it was there for the PS5, Xbox One, Xbox Series S, and the Switch as well. Whenever I first made this video, some people were like, oh, it's not on the PC, but this is a physical retailer. They're not going to put PC on a physical retail page. But yeah, this is more than likely coming. Very exciting.
I mean, I like Tales of Xillia. I like Tales of Xillia a lot. However, like Tales of Symphonia's remaster didn't quite go to plan.
No.
So I'm a little concerned.
Yeah.
But hey, they can turn it around.
Hopefully. And you know what else? It's just interesting to me that it wasn't going to include Xillia 2, it was just going to include Xillia 1. Whenever they did do the Symphonia remaster and they included Symphonia 2, at least they did back in the PS3 era. Lately, though, they haven't been doing that, so who knows?
No. So it'll be nice to see what happens from it, because more people should have eyes on the Tale series, and I think Arise really kind of brought a lot of new blood to the mix. So a lot of people are kind of wanting to know where the Tales series comes from, but I want to see Tales of Fantasia again.
Yeah, definitely. Oh, that's definitely deserving.
I want to see Tales of Fantasia.
This video is brought to you by Sword of Convallaria, the latest free-to-play strategy RPG available to play on the iOS, Google, Steam, and even available to directly download from the website. This is a fantasy tactical RPG in the same vein as Final Fantasy Tactics and Fire Emblem, and it features 3 different game modes, including a full-fledged story mode promising over 100 hours of gameplay time. The NeoPixel art graphical style is gorgeous, and the watercolor style backgrounds are breathtaking too, and lovingly crafted from the ground up. There's some great pedigree behind this one too, with over 40 anime and voice acting stars bringing the characters to life, while the music was composed by none other than Hitoshi Sakamoto, who's best known for his work in the aforementioned Final Fantasy Tactics, Tactics Ogre, and even Final Fantasy XII. Here, you'll journey through Iria, a mineral-rich country whose magical resources have drawn unwanted attention from the dangerous external factions. As tensions rise and riots break out, it's up to you as a mercenary leader to navigate complex situations while finding ways to save the fate of Iria through the use of strategic turn-based combat. All of your choices will matter as you navigate the complex political climate and recruit allies to join your cause. So, if you're as excited about trying out Sword of Convallaria as I am, then just click the links below to start your adventure from July 31st, and be sure to use the code SOCCREATOR to get some in-game rewards. And now, let's get on back to the video.
Another update that we have right here, and I also made a video about this one, is that Capcom is considering how to make Mega Man games on an ongoing basis. Capcom has confirmed that Mega Man remains one of its most highly valued IPs, and is considering how to create games for it on an ongoing basis. And this was shared in a Q&A for its 45th General Meeting of Shareholders. Nothing concrete was revealed, but it is nice that they still want to continue their legacy. They said it's one of the most highly valued IPs, and we are considering how to create games for it on an ongoing basis. I love this series. Not only just, the regular platforming games, but also the RPGs. There's a Mega Man Battle Network, there's Legends, there's Command Mission. They're all fantastic, and I cannot wait to see what else they have coming down the pike for this.
It's interesting to me because a lot of the like RPG elements of Mega Man never made it to Europe. Like, people can correct me in the comments if I'm wrong, and I'm sure they will. But I don't think we ever got Legends and
Really?
like Misadventures of Trombone. We never got any of that. And I think that like Mega Man is such a loved IP that it's a shame that we just haven't seen anything other than things like the Battle Network Legacy Collection.
Yeah.
It's always the older stuff.
Yeah.
So it would be nice to see something brand new.
Yeah, that's actually a good point, because people were talking about getting remasters of the Legends series in anticipation of Legends 3 possibly coming out, and if they did do that, now would be a time to introduce Europeans to that as well, so that's a really good point. Hideki Kamiya says that he would like to make a sequel to Okami and Beautiful Joe 3. Both are games that ended midway, and as a creator, he feels that it's his duty to make sequels for the fans. He says, I still feel like I haven't fulfilled my duty, so Capcom, please let me do this. Oh my god. Love Okami.
I would die.
Yeah.
I love that franchise.
Oh, it's so good. There was Okami, there was Okamiden, which I don't think it was as good as Okami.
Okamiden was cute, but it wasn't Okami 2.
No. I even played Beautiful Joe because I heard such good things about it. I bought it for the GameCube and I played it on the Wii, and I really even enjoyed that. So,
fun fact, my first username that I ever had was Beautiful Me. Because obviously my name is Joe, so I was just like, it's really pretentious, but
no, that's cute.
I loved these franchises, so Hideki Kamiya, Capcom just let him do it,
yes,
please.
Yes. And speaking of that, we have another tweet here from Genki. It says, Devil May Cry, Resident Evil 2, Okami, and Beautiful Joe director Hideki Kamiya took part in the recent Capcom Super Election Player Survey, and he left this comment. He said, I am Hideki Kamiya. Let me make Beautiful Joe's sequel. Seems like Capcom ignored his comment.
Not good enough.
No.
Not good enough. Sorry. No shade. But not good enough.
What is going on?
The artist in me is like, Okami? Are you serious? Even Beautiful Joe has the like comic book style of art.
They're beautiful.
It's
they're
so stunning.
Beautiful
They
games.
still hold up well now.
Yeah. They're
They've
absolutely
ported.
gorgeous.
How many times have they ported Okami HD?
I feel like it's on every single system.
And yet,
the PS2.
not once for Beautiful Joe.
I know.
Not good enough.
Yeah.
Let us have it.
I agree. If he wants to do it, let him do it.
But I think it's a really interesting commentary. Like, if he, like, the creator of the franchise is saying, I want to do this, but I'm not allowed to.
Yeah.
What are the barriers that are being put in front of him to stop him from doing that?
And also, why would he make that comment public?
Yeah.
I mean, if he's the creator, he obviously knows the inside people. Send an email. Like, this is, I don't know, it's just unusual.
It's odd.
It is odd. This is from Reddit, Gaming Leaks and Rumors. There is a new job listing that pretty much confirms that Stellar Blade's PC port is in the works, and DLC is also hinted at. There was a job listing. It says, Combat Designer PC Development job listing on Shifts Up site has been spotted, and it's pretty self-explanatory. A PC port of Stellar Blade certainly appears to be in the works. What's more interesting is the monster creation vacancy, which enlists the following 2 requirements: monster skills, AI design, and data work. Monster-related system design and production in progress. New monsters, new skills could either mean Stellar Blade DLC or a new game altogether, with the former being the more likely scenario. I know that you're a huge Stellar Blade fan, aren't you?
I've played it.
Yeah.
It definitely... It's got a direction that it goes in, that I'm here for... I mean... If a female character can do a split while like taking out everybody in her vicinity, you've got every gay man in the entire world going yes. So that's working for me, and the game is actually very good. I didn't finish it, and I'm still planning on finishing it. But the first thing that comes to my mind when I see PC port, modders are going to have a field day with this game.
If there's one thing that modders love, it is some T and A, and this game has it in spades.
Yeah.
So yeah, definitely the modding community is going to love this.
But the DLC as well is like, I think if it's a monster related thing, like to have new bosses, because the bosses are actually some of the best bits of Stellar Blade. So I'm happy to see more of it, to be honest.
Oh, good. I'm looking forward to it. Speaking of Stellar Blade, there's a summer update now available and adds 2 new outfits and more. Look at that T and A, like I was just talking about.
I'm worried you're going to get demonetized just for putting this picture up. Like, girl.
This is so photoshopped. Look at that. Look at her back.
Look at that arch.
Look at her back. What is happening right there? It's kind of ridiculous. But so this is adding a lot of new content right here. There's a small area for a summer vacation, for obvious reasons.
Because that's why I'm playing the action RPG, to go and sit at the beach.
Yeah. There's a great desert oasis. You can listen to the Oasis soundtrack there.
Sunbed.
There's a sunbed that you can lay out. I wonder if you could lay out in the nude. I don't know.
PC version.
PC version. There you go. So there's some sort of hair color issue being changed and other bug fixes as well. So if you're a Stellarblade fan, and I know a lot of people out there are because of
Can't think why.
reasons,
Can't think why.
then you'll definitely enjoy this upgrade.
And even if you're not a fan of that, it is still a good game, promise.
There's an Atlas exclusive Metaphor ReFantazio live stream set for July 29th, introducing election candidates and followers. This is going to be at 6 p.m. Pacific time, 9 p.m. Eastern time. As well, it will be on YouTube. You can watch it in English, Japanese, traditional, Chinese. And I know that this is one of my most anticipated games of the year. It's coming out this fall on October the 11th, and I just cannot wait. This is another Atlas game. It's by the makers of Persona, but it's not as Persona-y. You know, it still has bonding events and whatnot, but it's more of like a traditional fantasy RPG, and it's looking great. It's for the PS4, PS5, Xbox, and PC.
It gives Persona meets Fire Emblem. Mm-hmm. That's what the vibes I get from it. But I really enjoyed the last live stream that they did, where they went into detail about everything that was going on, talked about the music, talked about why they went in the direction they went with it, and I'm actually really excited for this. However, I won't be watching it like at 6 p.m. PT, because that's going to be like 3 o'clock in the morning for me.
Oh gosh, you'll have to catch the next
So
day.
I'll have to watch that one the next day, I think.
No kidding. But yeah, this is a turn-based RPG, and I cannot get enough of them.
Most anticipated game, and one of the most anticipated games for RPG fans of the year.
Well, nothing's going to be Dragon Quest 3 for me.
Well,
but
no,
anyway,
you and me both, but
yeah.
that's beside the point.
Exactly. The Legend of Heroes Kai no Kaseki Farewell Ozumburia details the Grim Garden. This, to me, looks like a mini-game inside of this game. I was reading the entirety of the article, and so did Joe.
We both kind of don't know what it is.
Yeah, we're both very confused. So I'm just going to read a little highlight of it and show you some pictures and everything, and maybe you guys can tell us more about it. I don't know. But to me, it looks almost like a mini-game. It says, in order to recapture the virtual world of the Society Ouroboros, took over, form a party with members that are available for battle, enter the castle, and capture each area. In each area are avatars placed on the stage that represent the members of your party. Like a chess piece, you must capture the area by moving the avatars forward every turn. By defeating the Guardian at the end of the stage, the area that can be captured will expand. Furthermore, access to various types of service that can be used within the virtual world will be unlocked. This little guy right there, that little Reen, is making me feel like, at first I was like, what is this? Is this gacha? Like, what's going on here? But to me, it looks like, a mini game, because then you have this kind of strategy element right here, with like doors and treasure chests and enemies and stuff like that. So I'm guessing it's a mini game, but then it goes into pictures of battles, so maybe it's a mini game, but then it goes into regular turn-based battles.
It could be like a tower mode, where it's like you're climbing the tower to do like increasingly more difficult battles. But
Yeah.
it says on the article about like acquiring these grim tokens, and then further down it talks about sort of like getting little bits of like behind the scenes lore, these memento orbs. So the lore divers are going to love it.
Yeah.
They're going to want it, because Kiseki fans, they love to just take everything and like expand on it all. So I think this is
and
great.
really break it down. So this would be a way for, to have all this lore, but not make it mandatory part of the game. To make it, you really have to work for this lore. So as of right now, we do not have an announcement for a Western release date, but this is coming out September 26th in Japan for the PS5 and PS4. There's a new Art of Fighting game and Samurai Shodown action RPG in development. No details have yet been announced, though. This happened at the EVO 2024 showcase panel, where he actually attended.
I've just come back from EVO.
Yeah, so he knows a lot about this, and this comes right here from the developer. It says there's a lot of stuff in the works. There's a lot of stuff that I can't talk about, but we have said, and we're trying to. We've got a few projects that are very far out. We want to get more and more staff, because we need more people to make these crazy awesome games. One that got a lot of press over here at EVO is that we have announced that we're making a new Art of Fighting, actually. So you're going to see Southtown in its full 70s glory brawling again. And also, one of the projects that I'm in charge of that we also mentioned at the same time is the Samurai Shodown action RPG. Please look forward to that. That one we have a lot of surprises in store for.
So I was at this press panel. Like, I attended it, I watched these announcements being made, and the crowd went wild when the idea of a Samurai Shodown action RPG came up. I'm a huge fighting game fanatic, and SNK doesn't have much of a presence in Europe, unfortunately. It's more popular in sort of like Far East and in the US. But I think they're having something that's genre shifting, because fighting games and JRPGs, I've discovered, have like this huge crossover in their fan base. And, you know, again, sound off in the comments if you're somebody that likes both of them, like me. But to see them kind of developing in a different direction, I think is going to be really interesting, because SNK haven't really made a game like that. They're more well known for fighters, things like Metal Slug as well, so arcade shooters. But I'm here for it, and Samurai Showdown's a really good IP to run with, so, you know, if you've not encountered it before and you can see the characters playing above us, there's a lot of personality to these characters, so it'd be really cool to see them in that kind of setting.
Personally, I just think that makes a whole lot of sense, and like you were talking about, you know, there is a crossover between fighting enthusiasts and RPG enthusiasts. I personally liked Mortal Kombat and Street Fighter, you know, and I think it would be amazing to do like an action RPG with like Chun-Li and Dazlam and Ryu and Ken and all that kind of stuff. Like that would be a lot of fun.
Oh, I'd love that.
You know, that would be a lot of fun. The only Samurai Shodown RPG that game that I ever played was there was an SNES turn-based RPG for it that was Japanese only, and it was translated into English, and I did play that. So they're almost kind of going back to the roots. So like, hey, we did this back on the SNES in the 90s, let's try it again, but this time action RPG.
They did the card battler RPGs for like the DS and stuff, like the Capcom versus SNK one, so maybe there'll be some elements of that in there too.
That'd be cool too.
Who knows?
Yeah. Project Jinyiwei joins PlayStation China Hero Project. It's an action RPG playable at China Joy 2024. It will be available for the PS5. And it said, this is a machine-translated overview of the game, so bear with me. This is an action RPG developed by some team of some game company. It tells the story of a graphic protagonist. Yeah, sure. In the late Ming Dynasty, who gets wrapped up in a conspiracy of intrigue in the aftermath of major events that occur in the era. With the help of various forces and his own growth, he gradually grows. That's lovely. Grows from a self-protecting warrior to a responsible knight. Players can experience cultivation elements close to the concept of martial arts, as well as a unique style and smooth gameplay with a focus on exciting battles in which you counter one move with another in an immersive story and interactive experience. We don't know anything about a Western release date or anything, but this is an action RPG. This looks very similar to some other these kind of Chinese action RPGs that have been coming out recently, so I did want to bring this one up for y'all.
I do like the element they've said with the idea of like you counter one move with another. Maybe it's trying to evoke kind of like Chinese cinema, stuff like your Crouching Tiger, House of Flying Daggers. Like, I'd love to see more representation of that kind of thing in RPGs, because people love it. I don't know if you ever played a game called Bushido Blade on the PS1.
I have, yes.
Something like that, I think, would be really cool.
I forgot all about that game, man.
Right? That's what everyone
Talk about a blast from the past. Good lord.
This is why we get on.
Yes.
But yeah, no, it looks interesting. But obviously, until we know more about it, there's not a lot we can do with it.
No. Co-op extraction RPG Surfpunk has been announced for the PC. Hit the high seas and scavenge a dangerous, flooded world. Welcome to Surfpunk, where the waves are fierce, the ridges are endless, and the Sumi, an otherworldly species of mysterious ink-like monsters, lurk around every corner. As a raider, it's your job to grab your rush board, surf out to the ancient ruins of the fallen world, and escape with as much loot as your barge can carry. Ride the waves of an adrenaline-fueled combat as you battle together to secure Everest, an ancient energy source that fuels every facet of raider life. Find your weapon of choice and cooperate with your teammates to make it out together. Stay agile, stay alert, and fight to survive. What do you think about this game?
It's cute. Like I love to see indie developers with games like this, and the visuals are really quite.
I love the art style.
The color is lovely.
It's really beautiful.
The use of like harsh lines around the edges of all it. It's got its own personality, and it has a unique concept, like blending like surfer culture with, you know, steampunk. Like if you look at the ship in the trailer, like it's very much got that steampunky vibe. Everyone's like gun toting.
It looks like Bullet Hell almost.
Yeah, so it's got something going for it. Yeah, so I'd like to see more.
It's different. Yeah, it's different. Wuthering Waves is coming to the PS5. It's also playable at that same festival, the China Joy 2024, as the previous game that I already forgot the name of, that weirdo game. I don't know. Do you remember the name of it? Because I certainly don't.
G and Way.
Yeah, G and Way or something.
Don't, you're putting me on the spot now.
It was something so weird. And it was 5 minutes ago, and I already don't remember. That's how much it meant to me, sure.
You put me on the spot.
Yeah. So we don't have a release date for this, but I do know that Wuthering Waves is one of those popular mobile gacha games in the same vein as something like ZZZ, or Genshin Impact, or Honkai Star Rail. This one is kind of up there with like the really good ones. And I know that there is a fan base out there for it, so some of y'all can really be excited about this. And I do see, because I was reading this, and I was like, I wonder if they have a different introduction. Because I remember when the first time that this came out and I read this introduction, and I was going through it, and it was so Englishy, I had no idea what was going on. It's the exact same introduction. It hasn't changed at all. It still makes no sense to me, but whatevs.
I've given it a go. I mean, I have had a history once upon a time with this kind of game. It's not really my thing anymore, but I'm very lucky in that like a lot of my friends are voice actors in this game, so I wanted to kind of try it out
cool.
and like sort of test it with them, and that it was nice to kind of explore, just to kind of have a party filled with my friends. It was really weird, but quite nice.
That's neat that you do
but
voice actors from it.
people who love these kinds of games will play this on PS5. Like
100%.
people who love them will just love them until the end of time.
Honestly, to me, that's one of the biggest barriers to games like this. It's not so much the gacha, it's that it's on a telephone. If it's on a console, I can deal with it. But on a telephone, there's just something about it. It's so difficult for me. Maybe I'm just old school. Maybe I'm just old. Maybe I'm curmudgeon. I don't know. I'm just an old bitch. But I'm like, I just can't do it on a phone. I just can't do it on a phone.
I think certain games can work on a phone, but a game like this where it's like heavy action and you're having to use the touch screen controls, that never works.
No.
Like, give me a controller.
I need a controller. That's my thing.
Interestingly, like as well, a lot of these like bigger games don't allow you to like connect a controller to the phone either, so you have to use the touchscreen control. So I'm like, yeah, console version.
That
please.
makes so much sense. Fate Extra Records still lives as remade PSP RPG has been teased in an August announcement. A fresh teaser for Fate Extra Record has arrived. The game was first announced in 2020, and while it's made brief appearances here and there over the years, it feels like the project is finally ramping up to some big news. We're getting more information on the 4th of August at this year's Fate Grand Order Festival. I didn't even know there was a Fate Grand Order Festival. Who knew that this franchise was big enough?
Fate's huge.
Is it?
It was huge. People love it.
Is it?
Yeah, I'm not much of an anime fan, Fate fan, I know.
Oh, is this an anime?
Yeah, no, Fate is an anime.
Oh.
So it's got this huge following, and
That's
I know
why.
that they've got loads of like spin-off games and stuff like that. Again, I've not played them, but I know that people really love them.
Got you. So this is an anime. Okay, makes more sense. For those totally out of the loop, boop, apparently, this is a remake of the 2010 PSP RPG Fate Extra. Okay, so I remember when these games first started coming out on the PSP, and I called them semicolon RPGs, for lack of a better term, because they were all the weirdest frickin' titles. They had slashes and semicolons and dashes and all this. I was like, what the hell is this?
Totally stealing that.
Yeah!
Semicolon RPGs,
Yes,
I love
I had no idea what they were, and I'm like, what is going on here? I remember I made a post over on the Game FAQs board, and I was like, what's up with these semicolon RPGs? Because they, like, appeared out of nowhere, and there was like 1 million of them. So this is one of those. This is the slash RPG. But yeah, it's a remake of a 2010 PSP RPG, but now it's being released for modern consoles.
Now you made me think it was like you had like, was it dot hack?
Yes.
That was like a big one
Yes,
at the time, and
yes,
it was like, so I'm stealing that term.
Yes.
Done.
We have entered news of the weird, and we're looking at this trailer, and we can't stop laughing. Like, look at that.
Just
Come
look at it.
on. Ancient Rome is a role-playing game for the PlayStation, the legendary Kusage, which means shitty game.
Terrible game.
It's a true rival to Final Fantasy VII. We have Final Fantasy VII at home. It now arrives in English for the first time. Join Kai, a tragic prince who was kidnapped as a baby and forced to work for demons as they sought ancient evil powers that lived underground. Meet various allies to rid the world of darkness once and for all. With broken music, laggy sound, and a nonsensical plot, step back in time.
I can't with this game. I heard something about this like on Reddit and stuff, and I just like I'm not even looking at the camera because I can't stop looking at the trailer. Like, it's so ridiculous.
This is the Star Wars thing. Like,
right?
Look at this.
It's
Look at
so
this.
insane.
It's so like. I cannot.
What
I
even?
I cannot. We were having a nightmare. We're going over this
Play
game.
this game. Yeah. I kind of want to play it though.
I do. I want to
it.
play it too. Like, what is this?
Look, fire alarm suite in D minor. Like, what even is that?
It's so ridiculous. But
It's
I
going to
saw this, and I just had to bring it up.
It's going to be my creative muse, I'm telling
Oh
you.
my god, I'm crying. The creator of Dragon Quest, Yuji Horii, talks about an unexpected challenge that the series is facing due to graphics becoming more realistic. He does want to say this. He makes a clarification. Please note that the realism discussed here refers to things like graphics switching from 2D to 3D, becoming more detailed and expressive, not a switch from stylized cartoony graphics to more photorealistic graphics. So Yuji Horii goes on to talk about this, and he says the main problem is the silent protagonist, or as Horii describes it, the symbolic protagonist. The idea behind this was to enable players to become the silent main character. They can imagine the character's reactions freely, allowing them to easily project their own emotions onto the protagonist. However, this approach was partly facilitated by the graphics of the time. As Horii comments jokingly, as game graphics evolve and grow interestingly realistic, if you make a protagonist who just kind of stands there, they look like an idiot. So,
Do you agree with this?
I love a silent protagonist.
Because I don't agree with that at all.
But at the same time, I kind of know where he's coming from. Because... Have you ever played a game called White Knight Chronicles?
Yes.
Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, a little bit, but that's a hallmark of a not very good game.
That's true. It wasn't a very good
Chronicles
game.
had some stuff going for it, but that was.
But they also had a main character who looked like an idiot. So.
Yes, it did. But I don't agree with this. Look at this. I think it's harder to have a silent protagonist work now.
It's difficult.
It is harder because a lot of people, if they're going to do the whole self-insert thing, they want a created character. Mm-hmm. Or if you've got a protagonist that has dialogue, then it makes it easier to connect to just the world, I guess.
Yeah.
But for me, like, if you look at games like Zelda, modern Zelda,
That's
Breath
true.
of the Wild, Link is if Link ever speaks, it's over.
Yep.
Metroid, like Samus never speaks, or very, very rarely speaks, and the one time she did, which was Other M, it went horribly wrong. And I think that just in RPGs in particular, I think a picture tells 1,000 words, and maybe this is, again, the art fanatic in me talking. So you can have a silent protagonist who's really expressive with their facial animations, which you couldn't have done back in the day.
That's true. And you can also give them choices.
Yeah.
And choices that matter. That sort of thing, too.
There's more ways to express a character's emotions than them talking.
But I do want to say this. I feel like the reason why this was brought up is because Dragon Quest XII is on the horizon. And they talked about making it more adult. They never said what that meant. But maybe this is a direction that Dragon Quest XII is going in, is that they're getting rid of the silent protagonist. So that could be something to keep in mind.
I don't mind it if they do. I don't mind it if they do, but I don't like the idea of it being written off.
Yeah,
that's all.
The thing is, either way works for me as far as I'm concerned.
Same.
It really doesn't matter to me which way they do it. They just need to do it and do it well. I like Final Fantasy. There's not silent protagonists there. I like Dragon Quest. There are silent protagonists there. As long as you do it and you do it well, it should be fine.
It's not about the story, it's about how you tell it.
Agreed. And in our final story of the day, Square's Chrono Trigger almost had a fighting game. Yeah. In a recently published interview with 4Gamer, veteran fighting game developer Tekken creator Seiichi Ishii gave some interesting insights into the games that he developed under Square during the PS1 and PS2 eras. Among the behind-the-scenes tidbits revealed in the interview, he explained that the PS1 fighting game Tobal No. 1 was originally set to have a completely different roster of playable characters belonging to the much-loved Square RPG Chrono Trigger. Imagine that.
That's wild.
Isn't that crazy?
That's wild. Like,
yeah.
Can you imagine if it just had the cast of Chrono Trigger instead
That would be
of turning into a different game?
I would have loved... Oh my god, I would have bought the thing and I would have played it. Yeah.
I don't think Tobal No. 1 came out for us in the UK. I don't think. I could be wrong again.
I have no idea.
I was a child, forgive me.
You were a child when the PlayStation 1 came out?
I was like 12 or 13. I was young.
Okay.
I wasn't like young.
I was like 16ish, I think.
Yeah, I'm a little younger, but like not. Yeah, not enough.
So it says that he wanted to work with Akira Toriyama, and this was around the time that Trunks appeared in Dragon Ball Z, and I wanted to have a character like that in the game. And Square had released its 2D RPG Chrono Trigger on the SNES in March of 1995 to critical acclaim. The game's characters had been designed by Toriyama, so at first, we were just going to do a fighting game using characters from Chrono Trigger. But as we were making the prototype, Toriyama came along and said, hey, I'll just draw some new characters. And the rest is history. Imagine that!
I would have loved that.
Oh my god! Like, that would have been amazing!
So, fun fact, and this ties us into the last story as well. I only played Chrono Trigger for the first time because we never got Chrono Trigger in the UK. Our first version of Chrono Trigger was on the DS. That was the DS version. The first time I played it, I did a charity stream in 2021 at the beginning of the year, and I just played through all of Chrono Trigger in one shot, and it's still amazing. Like, and he has a
timeless
and silent protagonist.
Yep.
There's more ways to tell a story than having them speak. Even with like text dialogue, you don't have to have it.
Yeah.
But even without the nostalgia of never having played it, it's still an incredible game. Like, it's one of my favorites now, and I only played it a few years ago.
It to me, it is still one of the best games ever made,
and,
easily.
And I can absolutely attest to that. If you haven't played Chrono Trigger, what are you doing?
Yeah, you have to. And now I kind of want to go back and play to ball number 1 and just kind of imagine playing with Chrono and Luca and Marl and all them. So yeah,
Frog.
Yeah, that would be fun.
Frog.
Get the Mazam. Boom. That would be great. So thank you so much for joining us over for some new RPG news. And if you haven't checked out Joe's channel, please be sure to do that. I will link him in the video description as well as the pinned comment. So you can head on over and subscribe to his channel. He has a great channel. Great, beautiful artwork too, I've got to say.
It's a new thing for me.
Yeah.
Like, it's quite new. I started a series called jrpg where I draw a particular character that everyone loves, and I discuss why the character is loved, and it's, just exploring the ability to look at a character without the narrative and go, this is why I like that character.
Yeah. I think it's amazing. So thank you again for joining us, and as always, have a good day.
Thank you guys. See you later.